kids? Is everybody cool? I think so. I think we're at disco. How is everybody tonight? It's gonna be a lot better after I get into this sculpture, into this wine. Alright, I haven't looked at our girl in a few days. Where were we? What were we doing? What major life problem are we solving through sculpture? Lighting is slightly different tonight. I blew out a bulb right before streaming. So, I had to fix that. Actually, let's change it out for a different light. Because I didn't have a replacement. Luckily, I have copious amounts of photography equipment. Lying about. See if we can make our girl come alive tonight. Is that Big Million? It's a Big Million kind of night. You stand up and talk to us. Really out of sheer laziness, I didn't do a whole lot of proportion checking on her. Really just made her half my proportions, half my lengths. Which is kind of hard to believe because she looks very small. This one is literally half my arm length and leg length. A lot of people joining on. What's going on, everybody? Right? Am I wrong? I think today's Monday. I kind of lost track of reality as we know it. At this point, that's the metric I have of what day it is what workout day is it? Which sporting event do I have to drive a child to? Oh, thank you, Kayflon Porter. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know if you were part of the streams earlier, but I was pretty trepidatious about getting into the bird there for a while just because I couldn't visualize where it was going to go. I finally got there. That's my prediction. Feeling good about it. Let's close the door so I'm not echoing dark jazz throughout the house. Yeah, I'm working into them slowly here. Let it happen slowly. Say that to the guys. Not in a rush at this juncture. Which is a good, worth a good opportunity to sculpt, drink a wine, look at it. Sculpt more. That kind of Layla, another fantastic name. Yes, this is a plastiline quote. Noni. No, that's a body part. Never mind. I know what that is. Can't fool me. Where have you been on my, for your set? I missed out. I gotta catch up. Well, we're here. I'm not going anywhere. We can spend our evenings together. Generally, out here Monday through Thursday nights. This week I have to go to Los Angeles on Thursday. So I will miss Thursday this week. But generally, Monday through Thursday night. Make a fairy with an owl? Wow. I've been doing a lot of content about owls for another project, actually. A non-sculpture one, a computer graphics one for an installation piece. So I'm working on some designs for a white glowing owl for that. A fairy. I did a fairy, a painting of a fairy. It's, if you go to my profile, you'll see a fairy being held in a hand. It's painting actually didn't like that. When you come back, I want your opinion and I'll tell you a secret about it. I assume it's going to go into next week, just because I want to keep going until it feels right. But we're getting close. We absolutely are. We're getting to the point that I need to start brainstorming what the next piece is going to be. Let's put it that way. Middletown, New York. Is it hard to hear me? I can turn up the volume. Let's see my mic's working. Let's start with that. The mic off. Let's go on the mic. Wireless Pro is. How about now? Can you hear me well now? Is that better? Anybody, give me a tip. Tell me if it's better. I see better. A little better. Turn it more. Perfect. How about that? Little. Jesus, really? I've gotten feedback that she looks very thin, very. See what happens if we go over to space. Mostly just because I feel like playing with fire. Where am I from? That is a really hard one to answer. I can answer it strictly speaking. I grew up here in the Midwest. Left the Midwest when I was 19. Went to Brooklyn, New York. And went to college there, apprenticed to, you probably know it. You said you're from upstate New York. Sim? Right. Brooklyn. Yeah, I lived there for 4 years. Went to LA. 20 years. Done movies. My first big movie I worked on was Sculptor on that. Worked in movies and television and whatever. Well, I spent a bunch of time in Moscow, like we talked about. And working on movies, you do a lot of travel, so my point of origin was LA. For those 20 years, I spent time in Moscow and a lot in Italy and various places. At the beginning of COVID, we got to move back here to the Midwest, back in the Midwest. But right after getting here, I got a call from Toyota in Tokyo, and they asked me to come to Tokyo to work on autonomous cars. Which I did for 2 years. Back here in the summer. So where am I from? Well, you tell me. Place where you spent more of your time in your life with origins. Tornadoes really aren't that big a deal here in the Midwest. That's the first thing everyone says is tornadoes, and there is like a monthly tornado warning, but you know where they test the system. I lived here till I was 19. I moved back 4 years ago. I've never seen a tornado here. So last thing we're trying to do right now. Let's increase anybody's anxiety. We need Medusa. Well, Mona, did you look at the profile? There is a Medusa drawing. Let's see, on my profile. On my website, my Pinterest, Instagram, and on my TikTok. There is a Medusa drawing, not a sculpture. Not a drawing. Well, we can call it either. I consider my customer for this piece to be you. It's kind of all a, I don't want to be dismissive and say social experiment, but it's a social experience perhaps for me. You don't know. Okay. Yeah, Jumpin' Jack Flash. That's one of the lyrics from Jumpin' Jack Flash. I was born across a hurricane. I assume that's what you were referencing. That is a rhythm. Clubber Lane, good golly. Okay. And good job on that. Procuring that name. That's what I was doing. Two more predictions. Fight Club. that up. I'm gonna wait for that to cool down. No, I shouldn't have touched it. I did anyway. I knew it was wrong. Did it anyway. My weekend. It was alright. It was good. Strangely, I'll tell you a secret. Don't tell anybody. Of course, other than the dozens of people watching, possibly watching the stream. I spent the weekend working with AI art. Specific reason. The club gallery that I'm working on. We need live content. And while I have 25 years in visual effects experience, the idea of producing like 64 hours of content, which is what my partners were asking if I could do, is beyond psycho. So I've got to come up with a different way to do that than the traditional model. Pass. No, I'm not a head in the sand kind of guy. I'm not hiding from it. I've definitely used it before. I'm a head in the sand person. I don't strictly like it, especially in the context of creating art. It's kind of a whatever. It's not going away. And like I said, I have a utilitarian need, which is the hell am I going to make 64 hours of content? Would not call 64 hours of content exactly fine art either. Yeah, I think it's how people engage, like anything, how people engage with it. So when it's engaged by employers or people that are simply trying to eliminate humans, they're trying to hurt people, essentially, instead of capitalizing it to create something new, they're using it to, apply it to an old model, which is basically a zero-sum game approach. How do I take away from somebody? This is how most people operate, at least at first. How do I take something from somebody else? Kurt, that's a significant problem. Unfortunately, our economy is not set up to deal with this. We're having some major shifts in the economy in the next 4 decades. Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, a little distracted. This is definitely a speaking of the soul. We'll go ahead. Get it over with. Okay, let's stay cool for a second. Hello. Work-a-lady too. I'm missing your point there, Lena. What was the inspiration? This particular piece was very exploratory. So I didn't have it when I started. I literally had a pose that I liked, that I wanted to work with. And you can see the drawing back there. And then as I started drawing it, you can see it on the backboard on the camera, you can see a little bit. As I started drawing it, I'm like, okay, let's put a bird in our hand, and then, I don't know, we'll go from there. So I like the pose, I like the birdie session script, and I was thinking about hair at that point. But that stage was really about getting the armature in the right place. That drawing is actually the scale, so it depends on exactly the sculpture. So I was able to take points, pull down space, then I drew the drawing, I drew the sculpture orthographically straight down on the board, correlating with the points in the drawing to get the armature where I wanted to be just pose level. But the inspiration really, I just let free flow come while I was working, which I don't know if that's going to work for anybody else. I don't know if it'll work for me again. But this particular piece came to me while I was doing it, in a lot of ways. I think there's a theme there with some of my other work, my drawings, paintings. There's definitely some similar themes that reinvention and things like that, self-actualization. So definitely not completely out of the blue in that regard. But the details of this really manifest, even composition. So like the counterpose of the hair to the bird, that came in process. To be really honest, a lot of exploration happened while working on this. There's just some parts of the body that need to be perfectly smooth. They just do, or else they're going to really trigger you. This is part of it, so I'm going to keep working this till it gets smooth. Join the team. I don't even understand what you're talking about. I just love when they join the team. That's cool. I don't know what's happening. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Actually, can you explain to me, can anybody explain to me what that means? Because I've noticed I have a growing number of team members, and Kelly just joined the team. I wrote Brandon. I'm not ringing the bells, I don't know what it means. Oh, is Rooney giving a little education there on what kind of costume it is? Yeah, it's usually known as Greek sculpture, which means counter pose. So two diametrically opposed weights. In Greek method, he's definitely not wrong. In Greek sculpture, it's usually meant and a shape composition. But strictly speaking, at least in the Italian translation, counter pose means two counter positions. But you're quite the learned man there, Rooney. If you do live battles, I would be on your team for getting battles. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Sounds like a whole thing. That's like there's some stuff going on I don't even know about. Squid Game, something going on here, something that definitely am. With death. Well, thank you. Sounds like a thank you is a good word. I wouldn't even know. I've never been on Twitter or X. Don't know anything about it. In fact, I'm even on Facebook. I do be looking at Instagram. TikTok is another venture for me. I've been streaming on Twitch for about 6 months or so. How does that help? Which thing are you asking that question? Talking about the street fight scenario? No idea. No, but I've been fishing for you. I think that was biggest one. Aquaphor, yes, I'm using Aquaphor. If that's a question that I can answer. It's Aquaphor because it permeates deep, basically. It's off the surface, so I can move it around without really penetrating deeply, and over time it absorbs, so it basically goes away. So I can make the surface mushy or out of my finger. Aquaphor. And then when I chill out, then Aquaphor basically just absorbs, goes away. Or I hit a blowtorch. It sort of melts, absorbs everything on it, and as soon as it cools, the torch is kind of a new addition to my repertoire, and I'm very much digging on the torch. I need to buy some of my skin. Do you have a tattoo? Actually, I like this Aquaphor actually came from my bathroom. I think it's a bomb. Like, I don't know what all these things are people use for their skin or whatever. Aquaphor is greasy and it's a little nasty, but I think it's more effective than anything. You know, the warmth. I mean, your skin is dry, whatever. Aquaphor is the bomb. Of course, you look a little like a glazed donut, so there's the trade-off. Well, the reason that Eon Flux, oh my god, you're tickling my things there. That was an early big influence for me. I was 16 years old when Eon Flux came out, probably before you were born. And that was every Sunday night, driving out to my friend Mark's house, and we would watch liquid television so we could get that, whatever it was, 30 seconds of an Eon Flux episode. Highlight of the day. Eon Flux's cartoon, the original series. It's profound. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, this is 1990? And I was pretty, there was no internet, and I was pretty desperate for things that stimulate, right? It looks like it's still better, but no, still goopy. That's the interesting thing about the torch technique is it changes the surface properties of the clay, makes it shiny. I can see things that I can't see otherwise, which is pretty cool because when I cast this, it's going to be in a different material that might expose morphology differently. So it's kind of a cool way to see things you can't normally see. Yeah, it's a little too gratifying to fuck around that tour, so I think I spend more time there than I should. Sometimes just put the damn torch down. Hand of fate. Well, Roy's totally my ambassador. This guy's doing silly stuff. I mean, you could actually be an ambassador, spokesperson. Jojo! Hello, Jojo. Yeah, as old Roni just said, I've been diddling our girl here since January 7th, but not consistently. Like, I got sick there for an entire week. I didn't touch it. Hours here and there, so I don't know, what am I up to? Maybe 70 some hours? I don't know. 70 some hours, maybe. Taking the time on this for the cognitive reasons. I mean, like I said, I worked out a lot of the composition on the fly, and even the allegorical, mythological values really changed me while working on it, so we don't want to be in a hurry and miss out on the value. I am continuing to cast this. First, I'll make a silicone mold. Oh, probably I'll make a silicone. Well, I'll discuss two options. I'll make a silicone mold and then cast it in resin, and then maybe some of that and cast it in wax, which I'll use to make plaster mold, which I can use in this constructive process. Cast bronze or an alloy. Plaster can take the temperature of the molten alloy. This will break off without damaging my logic there. And the other one is that I might embrace a new process. I might actually do a 3D scan of it. Haley, she's on. It's her idea. Well, she specifically gave me anyway the justification for this that I like, which is that if I do a 3D scan, projecting art onto this clay. It's not art, it's clay. You're projecting art onto it. So half, at least half of the manifestation of art is happening by you in your mind. So that being said, if it's not being consumed by you, it's not art. It's just clay. So my ethos is that it should be out there in the wild and in the perception of people so that it can be art. So, first of all, resin is much cheaper than bronze, so I probably will get resin so that we can have it. Two, which what Haley was arguing, is that if I 3D scan it, I could scale it down, and at least the fantasy for me of, you know, somebody's at work having a bad day, you're having a challenge, whatever it is, needs a creative, they need to remember, hopefully, the experience they're having here in this place with me, with us. And if this is sitting on their desk and it's small, they can have that own private Idaho, as it were, moment. That was pretty profound. Like, if that moment ever happened, whether I knew about it or not, that for me would definitely be conception of art, manifestation of art. That somebody's day went just a little bit better because of their participation with this or something I made, right? They made a VR because they manifested it in a time of need. That's some awesome stuff. So I'm into that. So Haley's argument that I should do a 3D scan so I can scale it down and do a small 3D resin. I mean, I guess if I did it at scale, I could sell it for like the same price as like a Todd toy, you know, Spawn or something. Everyone's looking once away responding to that. Does anybody like that idea? Volume's not working on YouTube. Fantastic, thank you. It's always a technical problem. I'll go take a look and see if I can fix it real quick. If not, I'm just gonna leave it that way. See if it's a quick fix. Holy sun. Well, it says it's working. So I'll turn it up and don't buy her for bookends. That's an interesting notion. So I don't know if you can see the base. You probably can. I mean, it actually would. I don't know. I mean, I guess she would work for bookends in some way. This base is huge, right? So maybe. What if I could touch up the base with a torch? Because you know how I love playing with a torch. Let's see what happens. Oh my God. Okay, I literally almost burned clay and set it on fire. It started embering. It's because I've got this too hot. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna set up the fire alarm. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, so I'll figure that out. I've got on my website or even here on the TikTok shop, I've got this nice, easy thing that everybody does. The what do you call it? The drop shipping, which is great. And I use Printful. Their quality is fantastic and it works great. For this, like to actually distribute 3D sculptures, I will have to figure out something completely new, which is cool. Like I'll be doing something different than what anybody else is doing. So we'll have to figure that out. I mean, maybe I just do it all myself and ship it all myself. I don't know. If anybody else out there has any ideas how to mass produce sculptures, I'm going to show this clay in this experiment. It's just so hard to stop diddling with this thing because it's so much fun. charcuterie's kind of rough. Let that cool down and work it. Put cloth across it, and I'll smooth it out. Well, I just turned it way up on YouTube. Is it still quiet now on YouTube? Like I just turned it way the hell up. Like according to this, I'm peaking. I should be peaking on the audio on YouTube. I just turned it way up, so I don't know, like a minute ago. Oh, but YouTube is it's got a latency, so you probably haven't seen it yet. Like I think YouTube's like 30 seconds behind. Yeah, it's delayed, yeah. So you probably still didn't see the new and improved squeezle. Inactivity? Oh, for fuck's sake. Wasabi, how you doing? Welcome back. If you were here a minute ago, we just got all beat up by TikTok. Mean. Big bully is what it is. YouTube's better now. Thank you, Roddy. I think I know what happened was I switched off my mic to a different mic. If you notice, I've just got this mic hanging from my chest, whereas I had an extension before. I just figured this was simpler, and I think it's not as sensitive. So, someone said something they could barely hear me on TikTok earlier, and I turned up the volume on the mic on TikTok, not on YouTube. So I got a real mess, or at least a real complicated setup on how I do things. It's not exactly easy to stream to 3 platforms. Especially with all the camera crap I do and whatever. So thank you for clarifying that for me. And meanwhile, while we were doing all that, TikTok kicked us off because of inactivity. Good God, man, they want you to do prolonged streams on TikTok, but then they make it hard? Good God. What are you, Chinese? Have I considered getting as a moderator? No. When I first started, I had a friend modding me on Twitch, but he is not present. So I don't have a mod right now. I don't know, I'm still pretty young as far as, you know, my life on streaming and social media. It's looking like pretty active, right? Like, tell me I'm wrong. Like, it feels like I'm getting a pretty positive response. Like, this might be a thing I'm continue to do. I mean, I'm going to continue to do it for me, but it seems like it might be something I need to consider. What you're saying, you know, a mod. Yeah, that. Like, I don't know. I don't have a reference point of like, oh yeah, you're doing really well. I don't know any of that. I don't have a reference point. I just know I'm digging it right now. Yeah, I have had 400 people. Yeah. Thank you, Glitter Grenade. What a name! What a name! Glitter Grenade. That is awesome. I don't know what that means to you, but I think it's hilarious. Awesome name. I think I get the biggest kick out on this whole experience from people's names. Glitter Grenade. I like to think that maybe you're like the baddest player on like Grand Theft Auto, or on like maybe like what's the first person shooter, the army one? Oh, for Christ's sake, the army first person shooter. Can't even think right now. Anyway, like think of that you're like this badass first person shooter player who's got a name Glitter Grenade. Did I sculpt this? Yes, Eddie, I sculpted this. Yes, I did. You can see it all if you want to. It's all on YouTube for posterity. If you go to Beau in the Dark TV _ between them. Actually, I put it up on that whole link tree up there because somebody gave me a bunch of crap a while back. Like they didn't think my shit was legit, so I put up the link tree so they could see any of it. Modern Warfare, yeah. Nice. So you are Mr. Badass Pew. Nice. You're the first person shooter badass that named Glitter Grenade. I love it. It's funny. That is funny. It's a good time. Just guys are just looking at me. I'm just shoving my finger in her cracks, trying to find areas I need to smooth out. Thank you, Eddie. That's actually, I need some help. I need to put some clay in there. Because now I'm thinking more like the technical side of when I go to cast this thing. If these seams aren't properly going to receive the mold, right? Andrew Sierzinski. How are you? Dude, Roni, you're totally gonna be. Oh, is that it? Are you lobbying to be my moderator? You can totally be my moderator. Of course, then I have to be consistent. I have to show up on time to work and stuff. This was Harley Quinn with Rotten Tomatoes on her face. Wow. St. Los Angeles Gallery? I'm sorry, is there someone from the actual gallery who just made a Harley Quinn reference while looking at a sculptor? Well, you're just about filling the role anyway. Well, I'm gonna be in Los Angeles on Thursday. Mr. St. Los Angeles Gallery. flying in for a meeting on Friday morning. I used to live there. I'd have to get on my phone to tell you. It's going to be a breakfast meeting. It's somewhere between, they had their assistant set it up, somewhere between the marina and Hollywood. I don't know where they're, I haven't lived there for 4 years, and they were like, oh, these are the trendy places. Did not resonate with me at all. I'm totally like, okay, whatever. Some restaurant between Hollywood and Marina. Thursday night, I will not stream. I will be flying to Los Angeles. Sad to say. I'll put in extra time. Like Fred Flintstone, I'll put in extra time between now and Thursday. Yeah, I moved from Los Angeles beginning of COVID. And then I spent 2 years in Tokyo. Now I'm back. And I sculpt naked people. Trying to sell their work. You know what? I have not, my commercial work, oh look, it's our model. Our model has come to visit. Let's see if she's brave enough to show us her modeling. Oh, goodness. Oh dear.
Triggered by that smell because they were burning me today.
Yeah, I burned the shit out of the clay. Shh, you guys didn't hear any of that. You didn't hear anything naughty happening in the other room in the dark. Gorgeous art. We showcase an artist from Italy utilizing bronze and metal for our Netflix exhibition. Well, Mr. St. Los Angeles Gallery, let's, if you like what you see. No, I'm joking around, but I'd love to show in a gallery. I've been doing this Mrs. Beau, yes, Mrs. Beau, exactly. Mrs. Beau just made an appearance. She's definitely my daily model, as it were. Tap, tap, tap. Yes, I don't know. Somebody was just asking me, oh, recommendations. Most of people have given me money for my art has mostly been, honestly, in the movie business. So like I've sculpted characters for movies. Something like this is really just, I'm doing it for the sheer joy of it. But I say that, but I can get my philosophy of why I do it, especially in this context of my belief that art exists in the eye of the beholder, the person consuming it. Rona, you've heard this a few hundred times, so you can chill, but in my mind, art doesn't exist as clay or paint or anything else. It's actually in that moment of conception. There's electricity that fires in the frontal lobe of the observer where they say, I get it. And that's the moment of art. Art is a moment, not a thing, not clay. So this has been kind of a big social experiment / art experiment for me, which is to create in conjunction with you, right? So who's my customer right now? In my mind, my customer is literally you, right now, this moment. That's who my customer is. People who are consuming my art. And so social media is an interesting phenomenon for doing so. A Russia story, oh God. How do I know when to walk away? I have a very clear answer for when I know when to walk away. When I am no longer exploring. When I find my ego kick in that says, you are trying to impress people with how good of a sculptor you are, how good you know anatomy. When you are at that primitive level of trying to impress someone else, it is time to walk away. But if you are still exploring, if there's still something to be explored, then keep going. So yeah, I'm not in a hurry on this piece. I'm not I haven't tried to be in a hurry. I'm not trying to impress anybody with how fast I've done it. You know, in some cases, I think some of the people like Ronnie's been present where I just sit here and diddle it without necessarily making progress because I'm kind of touching and thinking at the same time. And a lot of the conceptual of this piece has manifested during stream, right? Like I just kind of I went into flow state, let my subconscious take over, and realized afterwards what I did. And I'm like, yeah. So let the cognitive catch up. Or, you know, as I've talked about before on the stream, when you're lost, watch your hands. Let your hands loose. Let your hands do it. And let your cognitive see what your hands are doing. Your hands will answer the question. What do your hands do? Watch your hands. What are your hands doing? Your hands will teach you how to get out of the situation. Your hands will teach you how to move forward. What are your hands doing? And for me, in a lot of ways in life, and I came to that philosophy in Tokyo. So I was in Tokyo a year ago, was there for about 2 years. I was working for a Toyota on autonomous cars, and I just hit this kind of breaking moment of isolation. Tokyo is extremely isolated, especially for Gaijin, but even for Japanese people. And I needed to be doing something. So I started doing figurative art more regularly, consistently, every day. And figurative art got me through Tokyo without any major bad falling out or events. I washed my hands, and I realized my hands just told me what I've been looking for in my life, which is I need to be focusing more on figurative arts. So back to the question, how do you know when you're, how did I get off on this diatribe? How do you know when you're done? When you're no longer letting your hands show you the way, and you're trying to force your hands to make good art because your brain says, I want to impress somebody. You're not making art anymore, and it's time to stop. Sorry, I just went on a diatribe, and I haven't even looked at what you people are saying. When will I work? On the other hand, soon. I need to. I've been avoiding this hand. This hand needs some serious attention. Stephanie, thank you for. If I'm inspiring you, that makes me feel damn good. Instagram or TikTok. I mean, I've got a lot more activity on TikTok, but I've only been on TikTok for like 2 months. Instagram is cool. I will see them both. I will definitely see both. If you want to reach out to me on Instagram, you just won't be impressed with my following. But on TikTok, I've only been here for like 2 months, but it's definitely taking off. Anyway, wow. I think Vino Veritas is making my mouth flop. Either place. If you want to DM me on TikTok or Instagram, I'll see it. Thank you. When it's a gift for someone, right? Well, if it's a gift for someone, I'm going to give you my feedback. I'm just going to keep going. You keep stimulating me with these issues. If it's a gift for someone, now you're in a strange place because you're actually in a similar place to where I am. When I say you're my customer, when all of you people on social media, when I say you're my customer, it's because I literally want you to come along with me on a journey to a place, right? So if you're saying you're making art as a gift for someone, it's very empathetic. You are connecting with at least your fantastical projection of that human being. It's not about impressing people with how good you are, right? And there's not as much ego, it's person to person. And ego can't exist in such a small domain, at least in my opinion on art, as a person-to-person empathy connection. So anyway, I can totally see how you could let your hands loose in the scenario of a gift to another human being. That's an empathy moment, not an ego moment. Okay, enough with the freaking diatribe. What am I doing? What does this piece mean to you? What does it symbolize? Well, I'm not going to tell you what it means. That'd be too easy. I'm going to sit here and smooth out her calf. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to point out the elements for you as like Hansel and Gretel. And we've got this female figure, right? She's floating, right? So there's something fantastical already about she's not terrestrial. She's defying gravity. So it takes us into our cognitive or into our psychological space, our freedom of fantasy. She is elegant. I hope that she's perceived as elegant. And she's in a receptive pose. She's receiving this bird. This bird is coming to land on her. If you look, what camera are you on right now? Turn it around here. So she generally has this presence. This side, she's smiling, so that the side you can see. And then now, camera switch, this side, she actually looks like she's sad, but she's generally still on this positive mindset of reception, and the bird is coming to her. And the bird, a phoenix, represents reincarnation, or at least in its common conception, right? This is reinvention, and all that sort of thing. But what I don't like about the phoenix mythology is that it's this passive thing. We sit back, we watch the phoenix, we use it as iconography, but it's a passive thing. And in this case, the bird's coming to her like it's a calling. She's calling it to her, and she's receptive to it. It's a loving embrace. But if you look, see if I can pull this camera around. There you go. Oh, no, lost it. Okay, where's the camera? Her other hand, when I get my lazy ass around to defining it better, is holding a knife. So for me, this piece is she is going to sacrifice the phoenix. She's literally not. The phoenix isn't going to reincarnate in front of her. She's going to sacrifice it. And that's important to me because it's, kind of like Terminator 2, no fate but what you make. This is her taking control of her own fate. I am going to sacrifice my bird. I'm going to sacrifice my phoenix because I am going to manifest who I am going to be of my own volition and choice. So this is a self-actualization piece for me. But it is, it's happy on one side. Where's the camera right now? Happy on one side and sad on the other. It's two emotions that she's feeling. There's a sadness. She's gonna end the bird. She's gonna end herself. But she's starting over. She's gonna make something new. Reinvent herself. So a lot of my pieces have that theme to it. Like I said, this was a very exploratory piece. I didn't necessarily have this entire theme worked out when I started it. I kind of had like, I like this pose and I'm going to work with it. And then we got here, which is again what I love, this forum of interactive art. Right? Because a lot of these ideas and a lot of what this became literally happened during stream for me. While I'm just looking at it. Again, what did my hands do? I'm just sitting back. What are my hands doing? Watch my hands and see what they're doing. My hands are teaching me. My hands did this. I didn't do this. I didn't do any of this. I didn't think any of this shit. I didn't make this up. I can't take credit. My hands did this. Any tips for sculpting hair? She is the phoenix, yes, Kevin Grave. There's supposed to be a parallel. The way I sculpted the hair is similar to how I sculpted the flame of the bird, so yes, she is the phoenix. Hair, trees, any of that sort of stuff, don't look at the individuals, try to look at the mass. In this case, it's a sculpture, so I can't sit here and sculpt strands. If you want a detailed kind of tutorial, just look at Bernini. Just look at Bernini. That's the short answer. Just look at Bernini. But as far as process goes, for me, composition was important on this piece. So look at the mass. Where's the mass? Think of it, and when I say mass, don't think about mass in the form of actual weight or matter. Think about mass in the form of visual mass. Where's the visual mass? And then block it in, and then work backwards from that. And look at Bernini. The hand on the back is not good. No, it's that's not well done. Your father was world famous Western artist. Well, you can't half name drop. You gotta fully name drop if you're gonna name drop. Yeah, ironic, yes, that my hands are avoiding the hands. Thank you for pointing that out. I also avoided the bird for a long time. The bird's not done, although I don't know how much more I'm going to do on the bird. I think I'm going to work in the face, and I'll probably have fun with the torch. Actually, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when we go after the bird with the torch. I don't think I've done that. Yeah, it starts smoking because I'm burning it. That's what happens. Yeah, it's doing what I want it to, though. It is simplifying the masses. Yeah. So I definitely need, well, I need to work some of it anyway. Some of it's not quite. Well, anybody remember the flaming bird from Fantasia 2000? That's pretty cool. That's back when I really gave a crap about being an animator. You know that tail can get longer. You know what, Ronnie? You need to keep that kind of shit to yourself. Fatter with you and your good ideas. That is a good example, though, of what I've been talking about, the interactive art process. Because Ronnie ruined my weekend, made me tear apart the tail because he had a good idea for the tail, and I did it. And it was a pain in the ass. It's all his fault. Okay, clay's literally dripping off. Might be a little melted. Cool, you have clay and remove for the reveal. I don't know what you're saying. Sorry. I mean, it is kind of a reveal with the torch because basically the action with the torch is that all it really does is work the surface tension of the gravity. Yes, it's melting it, but if the mass isn't in the right place, then the surface tension won't pull it into the desired shape. So it's kind of a sculpting for this process. And generally it works, and then it also it exposes when it's not working, which is good too. I'm like, oh, this isn't working, so I'm going to come back and rework this area because the torch taught me that I was doing it wrong, basically. It elucidated me that I did not have my mass where I wanted it. Okay, Ronnie, at this point you're just copy and pasting your own post there. I guess that's what a mod does, isn't it? I like this. This is totally working like I wanted to. At least in areas it is. Like I said, in areas that it's not, it's elucidating me to where I need to come back after it cools and work it. Is a plastilina clay, so it's oil-based, which means when I apply the heat to it, it melts, as opposed to catches on fire or hardens. So it's kind of a technique I've worked out here for working with heat and this, and that I get the mass where I want it to be under the kind of intuitive feeling that when it does get the heat on it, that the surface tension and the gravity will pull it into the shape that I want. Yes, it is essentially just melting, but it's melting with a purpose. And I don't get it right always the first time, so doing it once shows me where I did it, at least, whatever, wrong is maybe not the right word, but not as optimally and desired. So like all of this on the back of the swing right now is completely fluid. Like gravity's literally making it flow into its, in statistics you call it the local minima. Yes, I've had a variety of life experiences. One of them is mathematics and statistics. Everything's fitty-fitty. Spoken like a psychologist, Ronnie. Wow, that's cool. I can actually see the clay crawling down the surface in some areas. What I'll do is I'll come back with the Aquaphor on a brush and push things around that are just structurally how I don't want them. You know, that aren't really working collectively with the rest of the masses. And then after I think I've got it, I'll come back with the heat again and learn. The heat is definitely a learning, it's a trial by fire. The heat is a learning process more than anything. You learn about what you've sculpted and is it where you think it is in relation to its neighbor. And again, it's kind of a mathematics, statistics thing. And you're working, you're sculpting with surface tension, you're sculpting with the relationship with the nearby masses. And the heat causes that interrelation to happen. You know, in computer graphics, call that metaballs, right? What happens when the surface has a relationship to its neighboring surface. Well, in some places it looks cool as hell. That's the answer. house smells like a concentration camp. Actually, I probably should open the door. Get some ventilation. All right. Oh, booze break. Where are we? You make clay transparent. Thank you, because that was exactly my intention getting into this. So I appreciate that comment. I'm so thankful for Roni right now because I can't possibly keep up with all of this, all of the stream. Yes, I'm opening a gallery here in Kansas City with some partners. It's going to be an interesting venture because it's a night it's going to be a nightclub gallery. So, like, I'm going to do my stream from there Monday through Thursday on one floor, and then on another floor, I'm actually producing a full immersive 3D experience on digital projections. So that'll be the first floor. But on the nights I'm not streaming, Friday and Saturday we'll probably have the more conventional bands coming in. So it's gonna be a pretty awesome scene. All in all, methinks. What would you do if I crashed a stream? You mean you actually came to the, yeah, well, hell yeah. Like, that's kind of the point, right? If I'm gonna do both this experiment, right? We talked about how this is an interesting experiment of having people participating with the creation of art in stream, but then also having people participate in presence, right? At like literally having an audience and have, you know, physical audience and a virtual audience and booze. How could this go wrong? That would be awesome, man. Anybody in the Kansas City area or wants to come to Kansas City, we'll be open in about hopefully 6 months. Totally depends on Kansas City giving us the occupancy on the building. And of course, you know, the actual physical install and stuff like that. You know, that actual manual work stuff. How much would that cost someone? I'm sorry, which thing? This is the ultimate art course. Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate that. I mean, I don't know that I'm teaching anything, but I will definitely share everything. How about that? I'm not going to teach you anything, but I'll share everything. Whatever I can. It's part of the, well, you know, back to my philosophy on what is this art, being that thing that happens inside your mind as the consumer. I mean, yeah, same concept. I'm not going to teach you anything, but I'll share everything. And whatever gets into your brain, that's the art. Whatever manifests inside of you, that is the art form. And I definitely need to get a goddamn Discord up so that we can share stuff better. And get this weird lump out of the bicep. What? Sorry, I can't. I don't know what shot. All right, I'm out. I don't know what you guys are talking about. On Discord, yeah. Totally. I'm totally remiss. I'll get it set up and I'll just put it on, I guess, the link tree and whatever. Yeah, my bad. It's all my fault. I got a few things going on that are actually, you know what? I think I have a mental blocker because I do have currently a Discord. It's like a private Discord. I don't know if I should create a new Discord Is that what I should do? Or take the one I have? I think I'm having an elder moment. I'm not really embracing the Discord because I don't think it's actually that hard to set up. I just don't think I'm doing it. Part of it because I don't really know like what's the best methodology. Should I just start a new one? Whatever feels comfy. Okie dokie. Personal assistant. I might need a personal assistant real soon. My personal needs to be assisted. That's for sure. This forearm, or more specifically, flexor ulnaris, ain't making it. Thank you, Kala Art. Who was my model? Well, you just heard me molest her a little bit ago if you were on. The closest thing I have to a model is my wife. That being said, I don't really have a model. I did pretty much freeform sculpt this. But that being said, you know, she's my number one influence in my life. I look at her every day, and she basically looks like this. It's really obnoxious, yes. Before you say anything, yes, it's obnoxious. Well, no amiss dreams, thank you, meow. Well, you know what? I can give you the Latin name for whatever body part I'm touching on you at any given moment. If that's sexy for you, then I bet it works. But it might not be sexy for you to realize that I dissected at Columbia Medical School and I'm probably thinking about a cadaver while I'm touching it. Let's just say, I know what you look like on the inside. Oh, my wife is obnoxiously beautiful. To say the least. All right, let's take a step back. What are we doing? What do we need to do? Probably need to get into this hand. This hand is the number one thing I've been avoiding. And partially it's because the knife is not actually sitting where I want it to be. All right, let's take some wine. Yeah, thanks, Ronnie. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to move the hand or do I want to move the knife? Because it depends on where the wires are underneath. I think I can actually move the clay. All right. I thought I was about to do some major surgery, but part of the reason I've been avoiding this hand is I thought I had to do surgery on the underlying wire. You can always count on me. My wife does not do art. My wife works in mental health, which, as my high school best buddy said to me when he found out, was, that's just too easy. When I told him I was marrying a therapist, he's like, oh, that's just too easy. Pelesis muscles, by the way, is the name of what I'm caressing right now. Creates what was it, Bridgman, I think, called the snuff box, little space right there. I like me some Bridgman. Not that much. He's a good guy. Good work, good contribution. Acupuncture X knows the most. The wiggling should not make you anxious. Yes, it is wiggling. I will wiggle it in front of you. You can see me wiggle her, jiggle her just a little bit. However, to reassure you, our girl is made of steel. 5/16 all thread steel skeleton. So she's going nowhere. I reinforced the arm here with, this is 1/4 inch steel. So yes, it will wiggle, but it's not going anywhere. It would take a hell of a lot to move her. In a negative way, or in a damaging way. So somebody drank all my goddamn wine. I think that person's me. And so ultimately I just need to make it more, robust enough that when I cast it, the material that gets cast is able to hold her up. That's actually part of the motivation for having the flame come down the arm. I was actually considering having the flame coming all the way down to like bicep maybe. But it would, aesthetically yes, but also to give a reinforcement to that structural support. To hold up all this bird mass when it's, imagine this in bronze. I mean, it's obviously very strong. So it would probably hold it. But I beg your pardon, sir. Do you have any Grey Poupon? Thank you. If you're into old white-haired dudes, this is the place to be. I got hit on by a 25-year-old this week. That was cool. I mean, I'm guessing she was 25. I don't know. It's good for my ego. That's about it. All right. Back to the hand. Stop. Redirecting. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Different tool. Doctor is operating. Where's my other tool? Here it is. All right. Got a dirty tool. I need to clean it. User's back. I don't read the number, so I'm assuming it's the same user. Okay. This is called plastilina. It is a oil-based clay and allows me to get away with murder in that, one, it doesn't dry up, so I don't have to cover this thing at night. Two, I can do cool things like sculpt with a blowtorch, one of my favorites. It pretty much lasts forever. In fact, some of the clay in here, I found in this toolbox over here, is 20 years old. I bought it when I was in LA, in an apartment in Culver City, a very long time ago. And I found it, and that's kind of what got me doing this. We're like, oh my God, I'm gonna use that clay. Yeah, some of this clay is 20 years old. It generally doesn't go bad, especially if you get it warm. I can't even think of the name of this. Oh man, I'm having a senior moment. It's muscle I'm sculpting right now. Shh, don't tell anybody. Natty. Hello, my dear, how are you? I missed you. Pasadena, hello, Pasadena. I'll be in your neighborhood soon. I'm getting on a jet plane on Thursday night and headed to Los Angeles. Is the stream on the sculpture new from last stream or is it lighting? I'm not sure what you're asking. This is the same sculpture I'm working on. The lighting slightly changed. This light over here burned out right before I went online. So I had to replace it with a 650 watt, which I'm balancing off the ceiling if you're into that gaffer stuff. The sculpture, however, I haven't even touched it since last stream. Yeah, I haven't touched it since last week. It's just been sitting here looking at me, all dejected and lonely. It cries to me sometimes at night. Touch me. Touch me. But I don't touch her. Sorry, was that weird? I'm extremely talented. I feel like an extreme jackass right now, which is my natural state of being. You know, I was trying to come up with an archetype of how I would present myself on stream. I tried to think of Mads Mikkelsen. I'm like, yeah, that's the guy I'm gonna try to be on stream. Yeah. I don't think I'm succeeding in that. I think, unfortunately, I'm just being me. There's very little, maybe 5% Mads has made it in at unique moments. But for the most part, I think this is just all me. Who he played the villain in Casino Royale. He played Hannibal on the TV show Hannibal. What is he, Finnish? I don't know what he's, one of those Scandinavians. Mads is pretty awesome. But for me, that personally resonated because I worked with the creator of Hannibal, the TV show. He was also the creator / writer for a project I worked on called Mockingbird Lane. And his name is Brian Fuller. He also did, I think, Punching Daisies was his claim to fame. Anyway, super cool guy. When I worked with him, like, he was just a pleasure to work with. I will say that the character of Hannibal, the TV show, is very much modeled after him. That's how he dresses, that's how he acts. So I think Mads definitely used the creator as a template for that character. Gotta get those phalanges. Metacarpals. Jazzy Phoenix. Meow meow. Is that a crow or a raven? Which thing are you referring to? This bird? I mean, it's a phoenix as far as the storyline goes. It wouldn't be a crow because the eyes are on the front of the head, which means it has binocular vision. So predatory animals have eyes on the front of their head. Animals that are not predatory, like a crow, have eyes on the side of their head. So a lot of birds have 360-degree vision, which is good for evading capture or being eaten, but it's not good for depth perception. For depth perception, you need binocular, meaning two eyes that can see the same thing, just like us. So this is a predatory bird at the very least because its eyes are on the front of its head instead of the side of its head. So think about a cheetah, eyes on the front. Antelope, the thing that gets eaten by the cheetah, eyes on the side of the head so it can see behind it. This is a predatory bird. So more of an eagle hawk head structure. If that answers your question. Why do you know this? I know a lot of random shit. I don't know, man. I'm old. I'm old and I've been paying attention most of the time. I know a lot of shit in my head. I'll go off on astrophysics in a minute. Same reason I know this is called plexus major and minor on the arm. It flows over the radius. It attaches on the medial edge, the anterior, on the radius. Because I dissected at Columbia Medical School. Because that's what I did at that stage of life. And as I proclaimed earlier, I have a senior moment. I'll look it up. Richard McDonald. Well, you know what? I was going to say something cocky, but I'm not. Richard McDonald's awesome. I was going to say something really cocky, but whatever. Yeah, he's awesome. He is cool. I like him. I like Richard. I don't know him personally, but I assume he's a good guy. I went to a show here in Kansas City. The hell was it? What's the name of it? It was this amazing show that was that a hat that just appeared on me, AR-wise? Did somebody do that? What's that? Okay. The hell, Sensatia here in Kansas City that I attended. And it was absolutely astounding, world class. I mean, it was like Cirque du Soleil. God, it was amazing. So, and afterwards, if you went to the bar, you were hanging out with the performers that were in the show. It was spectacular. I was so happy to be there. Why am I bringing that up? Oh, because I was thinking about McDonald, and his claim to fame was his work with Cirque du Soleil. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll work with these people. And these people want to get captured in clay. It was really fantastic work. Well, thank you, Jesse. Last time I saw it was just a head and some wires. Well, that's how I feel about it. That is not good. Yeah, that's how I feel about it sometimes. Like last time I saw it was just a bunch of clay. Suspension of disbelief. I don't have that head of the ulna right. Let's see what we can do about that. Nice. Never seen a show. Well, there's plenty of stuff online just to get the content reference, for sure. I mean, Cirque du Soleil is great. I don't have anything negative to say about that. It's a fantastic experience. But the Sensatia here in Kansas City was very pleasant surprise for me. Fantastic performers. It was like being in Vegas. What is a good beginner clay? Well, that depends on your objective. If you want a final product, just go with Sculpting. Just get yourself in the Sculpting, and then you can, when you're done, stick it in the oven and call it a day. You know, you got a thing. If you want to have a thing, use Sculpting. If you are more worried about learning, I would say work with Plastilina, oil-based clay. Water-based clay is fine. It requires maintenance. You know, you got to keep it wet, all that sort of stuff. A lot of beginners work with water-based first. I don't really see why. I would say beginners should work with, well, beginners and experts should work with oil-based. The only time you should not work with oil, in my opinion, is when you essentially, like I've just said, you want a thing, right? You want to find a work product, then you should work with like a Sculpey, if that finished work product means you want a one-off. Water-based is fine if you want to deal with firing it, right? That means you got to bring it up to close, 1,000 plus degrees for an extended period of time, and you have access to a kiln. So if you don't have access to a kiln, Sculpey. If you do have access to a kiln, water-based is great, but you got to deal with a whole lot of other issues like air pockets. There's so many air pockets on her. If she was made of water-based clay and I fired her, she would explode, right? So in this scenario, I'm not worried about any of that. I'm literally just worried about the form, because when I'm done, I'm gonna cast it. I'm gonna put silicone on it and make a cast, or make a mold, I'm sorry, and then I'm gonna cast it in resin. And then after that, I'll cast it in wax, which I'll use to create a plaster mold. And that's because I can heat it and the wax will melt and fall out, leaving the negative space inside. And then I can pour in given that I have proper air channels, I can pour in the alloy, like bronze, and break once it cools. The plaster doesn't mind the heat, but it's more fragile, right? So then when it cools, I can break off the plaster, Bada bing, bada boom. Got yourself a Rodin. That makes sense. I am seriously considering an alternative techno version of this. It's going to involve, you know, techno. Something German. Something very, very German. I might do a 3D scan of this before I do any of that. And I'll tell you why. It was actually a streamer here. Yeah, Blick. Just go to Blick and you can get the clay. It's 17 bucks for 4.5 pounds. This thing's about 50 pounds of clay. Just go to Blick. That's my answer. I'm gonna do a 3D scan of this, and the reason why is, let me give you a diatribe. It's important to me that this art gets consumed by people. So I want to create a product that, you know, somebody's having a bad day at work, you know, somebody's an accountant or they work at an insurance company and they've been participating in this stream and they've got their day job and their life and they're having a bad day and they look down at their desk and they see a small sculpture of this and it reminds them of, for lack of a better term, a happy place. If they can come back here and be here with us at that moment, that for me that's the art. That moment is the art. When that person looks at something of this that makes in their brain the conception of this experience manifest at another place in time, that is art. So, that being said, the idea that I would 3D scan this would be so I could make a smaller, I could scale it down on a computer and make smaller prints of it. That meaning, so it could be on someone's desk in a smaller form. That for me is beautiful, right? That is value. Yeah, trick light, fantastic. You're my hero. You're my hero because you're saying this is your hero. We're each other's hero. Did you ever know you're my hero? Yes. So I would want you during your bad day, hopefully, to find some solace from a remembrance, right? If I could get this to you in a small form on your desk, maybe as a resin, something that's economically viable for you, that makes sense, right? Especially after I get this hand done. And Roni stops giving me crap about it. I don't think I'm gonna do this hand. I think this hand just lives in flame. So I think I'm gonna stay abstract with this hand and do some more flame sculpting. This hand needs to be good. Yeah, Jojo, fantastic. I love you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll figure out how to sell this. Most of my 2D art I have online as like drop shipping, which is fine, works great. Not gonna work for this, so I gotta figure out how to, you know, distribute. do you add oil to thin the clay? So, kind of. After I get it, basically the masses are in shape, sometimes I'll use Aquaphor. So just like dip my fingers on my tool in Aquaphor, and then I'll work the surface with that. If I want to, I don't want to move the mass, but I want to, have a surface impact, I'll use Aquaphor on my hand. It's kind of how you get a big round, smooth shape like her butt without moving them, moving the like mass. So it's kind of like a thinner. And then I'll also warm it with the torch sometimes. I will not paint this. No, I'm not. It's not my jam. To paint sculptures, I'm much more about the shape and the form. So, if somebody else wants to buy a resin painted, I guess they can do what they will with it. But no, that's not my jam. Oh, I just got dingled by somebody. Somebody dangled me. I don't know what it means, unfortunately. I'm learning it enough. Thank you, Melissa. I don't suppose I know you, Melissa, do I? I have known a Melissa. Do I know this Melissa? You can be honest. You can tell me. Okay. Oh, New Zealand. My goodness. That's a minute away. Yes, the Melissa I was referring to lives in Los Angeles, so not the same Melissa. But thank you for coming in. I love when I stream late like this because much more international crowd, which is cool as hell. All right, Roni. Get yourself to bed. You probably got school tomorrow. You got adulting to do. As do I. My adulting means taking children to school in the morning. That'd be my adulting. Is there some gnarly weather down there in New Zealand right now? Is that what I'm reading? Is that what you're saying? Thank you, Duman. Thank you, Jersey girl. Meow now. Jersey girl. Jesus. Are you in New Zealand, Jojo? Did I miss that? Oh, bugs flying in my head. But it's because I left the door open. Is the door open now? Yes, the door is open now. That'd be why. South of Ocala. Wow. Okay, I don't even know what that means. Ocala. You hit my geographical limits. I don't know Ocala. What the hell is happening? Jesus Christ, no. I don't know what's happening, but I'm saying no to it immediately. Booze. Thank you. Gotta wait a second, read your name. Tilly Badass. Okay. back to painting. Fantastic, Patricia. Love that you're back to painting. Not Medusa, but there is a Medusa drawing or painting I did on my my profile. You can see Medusa painting I did. This is not least intended to be Medusa, per se. Thank you, Katrina. Your input is most welcome. You're gonna say awesome, positive things like that, huh? Is AI the death of art? Absolutely not. However, it's going to cause an evolution of art. If anything, AI is kind of what motivated me to be doing what I'm doing right now. Because AI cannot participate with you the way I'm participating with you. AI cannot exist as a human being with an interpersonal relation. So I think we're finding what art is, right? Now you were participating in the creation of this sculpture, so you have an emotional connection with it, right? AI generally is, at this point, is a 2D thing. Yes, we can argue about how it could be 3D. Right now it's 2D, but it's also just a pixel, basically a pixel displacer, as opposed to any form of actually tactile experience. This is plastilina. It's a oil-based clay. Well, I think the sex bot question becomes relevant, right? I think a person that, without making any judgments, first of all, this is not a judgment, but I do think that engaging with AI art as if it were art is very much the same as saying, rather than making love, I would be just fine with a sex bot. And you are having the exact same experience. So, if you're fine with sex bot, you're fine with AI art. How about that? Thank you, Tay. I would say the inspiration of this piece really happened in the making, which again is a little bit relevant to our AI conversation. I started this piece literally just from a pose that I was thinking about. And a lot of the narrative and the metaphorical and mythological value manifested during the process. In other words, my subconscious came into play via my hands in a way that I couldn't articulate before. So the hands taught me what I was doing when I didn't know. Well, I love they have pet crows. No, I will not put this in the kiln. This is an oil-based clay, so I'm going to make a mold. I will cast it in another material, a resin and an alloy. I think I'll probably call it a night here in a minute. If any guys out there are digging it and want to come back or get notifications or however it works, I guess you need to, follow or something, and then you'll get notifications. Let you know when I do this, but I'll be back tomorrow night. This is my intention is to be back here tomorrow night. So yeah, whatever, click a button, do a thing. Winner, chicken dinner. I'll be back tomorrow night doing more of this, taking her closer to completion. Smart Ash, thank you for coming. And Mr. JT, absolutely, you guys are very much appreciated. I love your input.